Peace, peace, peace. Welcome back to Setting the Record Straight podcast, right? With your guest, co-host, Kai Banger in the building, and Vic Slang Hope, right? And today we're gonna talk about the 15-year-old girl that got shot. We probably should have been made this video, but like I kind of like didn't want to, but then like I just feel like a lot of people talking about it, so I was just like, you know what, I do got a little 2 cents to put into the conversation, right? So, and then yesterday we just didn't want to merge it when we did the other video about the other cop, Derek, right? So we was just like, you know what, we're not gonna wait till like next Sunday. We was just like, yo, we could just have the conversation now because we didn't want to wait till like it's really like not old news, but like it gets once after a while, like people they still be talking about it, but it just be a little different. So I just wanted to share my thoughts, and I believe Kyle probably wants to share hers. Hey, what you think? What's good? What's good? What's good? So I kind of like want Kyle to go first. Kyle want me to go first because I always she claim like she always be put on Front Street, but I just feel like it works better. I'm trying to be a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? Trying to let the sister go first. You know what I'm saying? Get her thoughts out there. You know what I'm
I
saying?
could
Like,
I could go first. I
you
can go.
sure? You
Yeah,
sure?
positive.
Okay. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I feel like, originally when I first saw the video, um, I felt like, the cops' actions were justified, right? Like I felt like, that was his only way of de-escalating that situation, in terms of preventing the other girl from getting stabbed. Um, But as I started to think about it more and I started to see other things come up, I started to change my mind. And the first thing that I started to change my mind on was the fact that he shot her 4 times in the chest, right? I thought that that was unreasonable. I thought that him shooting her 4 times was too much. And I thought that him also shooting her specifically in the chest was too much, right? Like, you don't have to shoot somebody in the chest to prevent them from stabbing another person. Another thing that I thought about was how consistently, you know, we've had so many different instances of this is a case point blank period, right? And a lot of people like to say like, oh, don't use the race card, this and the third, boom, boom. But I'm gonna use it on this one, right? Because it's applicable. We've seen so many different times cops respond to these white terrorists, right? And that's what they are, and never once shoot one bullet at them. And so I thought about that. And I thought about how we've had situations where there's more heinous crimes and police are put in more dangerous situations and they continuously choose, not to, fire their guns at these suspects and they find different ways to de escalate the situation. So I think ultimately this cop killed this girl because one of fear, right? I think that cops are trained in a certain way. I think the training has a lot to do with it. And I also think that when cops see black people, when they see black bodies, there's a different response that they have in terms of fear. And I also think that he killed her because he didn't value her life, ultimately. But I'm just gonna leave it right here, and I'm gonna throw it back to you, and we can go back and forth.
Okay. We getting the walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We getting the comments already. It said it had nothing to do with race. Let me put that out there. It had nothing to do with race. I mean, I I I definitely I agree with you. I agree with the fact that 4 shots to the chest. That was definitely it was definitely it's yeah, 4 shots to the chest is like what I'm saying? Like that was crazy. Like I ain't expecting you to come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, yeah, that was definitely crazy. It was definitely excessive. My thoughts, however, differ a little bit. I think like at first when they first posted the video, when they first posted the video, you couldn't really see it. It was just too fast. It was just like, people are just out here like, she called the cops. It was her house. I'm like, well, I gotta say this, right? I gotta say this because our folks, our black people are emotional. You know what I'm saying? They're emotional, and I think that the white supremacists, um knows how to get under the skin of black people. You know, they know how to, for example, we never get showed video. Before I even go into all of that, let me just stick to the young girl, right? She called the police allegedly, from what I heard. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Um, she called the police allegedly, right? My thing's like this. If listen, even when I was in the street and dudes shot at us, I know better than going to get a gun or going to get a weapon and trying to do something to the people that just did something to me, because I know the police are on their way. That's just one. You know what I'm saying? And I had plenty of situations when I was in the street where dudes shot at us and my man was like, yo, let's go get the gun or whatever, back in the days when I was doing those things, right? When my man would say, like, yo, let's go get the hammers, let's go do this, let's go do that, right? And I used to be like, bro, are you stupid? The police is on their way. Granted, that's one thing, right? So, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because, okay, people gonna say she was young, she didn't know better, whatever the case might be, cool. But my whole thing is this: she called the police. At the end of the day, the police are showing up to a scene, right? Of whatever they was told. They jumping me, they whatever. There was getting physical, whatever she told the police, right? At the end of the day, the police are showing up to a scene where they don't know who called the cops. They don't know who called the cops. They don't know how the person look. You know what I'm saying? She called the police about whatever's happening. The police show up. They see Shorty with a, and Dr. Umar want to talk about a butter knife. I don't know. Hold on, man. Hold on. They showed up to the scene. Shorty got some crazy some knife from the Jason movie. You know what I'm saying? And like it looked like, and look, I wanted to post a thumbnail for y'all, but I'm gonna put the thumbnail up there for y'all. And she like this, like about to stab Shorty. So at the, like, again, I don't justify the 4 shots, but I'm just saying, like, if I'm showing up to the scene and I don't know who's the aggressor, and I see somebody call me with whatever, they trying to harm me, and then I get up to the scene and I see somebody with a knife about to stab somebody. I don't know how exactly he ended up shooting her in the chest, because from the video that I seen, I mean from the slow mo of the video I seen, it was, the camera was facing her back. So, and she looked like she was about to stab somebody. So I don't know. I don't know if, I don't know how they got her to turn around. I don't know what the case was, right? I don't know if she was asked to drop it, whatever the case might be. But I'm just saying that if you show up to the scene and you see somebody trying to do something to somebody else, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like it's a moment where you gotta do something. You know what I'm saying? You know how many people shoot? Look, you know how many people shoot people in the street because they thought they was gonna do something, or and I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that, like, sometimes in some cases, it's like, yes, the police be blatantly doing stuff like shooting somebody that was running away, or shooting somebody that clearly didn't have a weapon, or shoot, they definitely do be wild. But I'm just saying, in this situation, I think is a little slightly different. Again, I'm not justifying, because everybody gonna be like, oh, you was justifying. She was, how she was shot from the back, but they saying she was shot in the chest 4 times. See, I don't know. Somebody said she was shot in the back. I I don't know. People say she was shot in the chest 4 times. This is the reports that keep coming up. Somebody here talking about she was shot in the back 4 times. If she was shot in the back, the police were trying to prevent her from stabbing somebody. 4 shots, it is excessive. I agree. But at the same time, I felt like the cop had to do something. And he probably gonna get off. He probably gonna get off just because of the fact that this young lady had a weapon. So yeah, that's all I can say.
All right. So, I mean, I understand your argument. First of all, before I start off, you should definitely unpin that comment because I don't agree with it. But, anyways, yeah. So, I definitely understand what you're saying, right? In a situation where you're a cop and you pull up on a scene and somebody has a weapon, it is a difficult situation to determine, what your plan of action should be, right? But as police officers, right, you're supposed to be trained to be able to de-escalate situations where people have guns, right? And you don't have to use fatal force, right? My whole problem with this is that continuously we see within situations that cops, when it's specifically when it comes in terms of how they deal with Black people, fatal a fatal response is the first thing that they choose, right? Like the first action is to shoot, right? And I feel like if we didn't have so many other examples of white people committing, again, more heinous crimes, let's get into it, right? So what I thought about was Kyle Rittenhouse, right? He was a 17-year-old who I think I forgot the city that he was in, but basically he shot two protesters, right? Who were protesting the dude, Jacob. I forgot his name, but that's the guy that got shot in his back. I don't know if y'all remember that. He got shot in his back when he was trying to get into his car. So these people were protesting, unarmed protesters were protesting his death. The 17-year-old pulled up with a AR-15, armed, shot and killed two people, and the police apprehended him without shooting one bullet. Right. That's another example. We have Nicholas Ferguson, which is a video that y'all should all look up, which is a 21-year-old who stabbed a police officer in his neck, right? He ran away from the cops after he stabbed the police officer in his neck. The police officer drew out his gun, chased him down. When he got aimed his gun at him, didn't shoot one bullet. When he got close to him, he put his gun back into his holder, pulled out his taser and tased him. A person that shot him in his neck, a person who stabbed him in his neck, a person who had every single right to kill and murder. We have a 61-year-old in Minnesota who dragged a police officer by while he was trying to basically arrest him. He dragged the police officer by his car. The police officer had his arm in the basically was trying to reach into the car to get him out of the car. So like his arm was kind of stuck in like the window. And so the guy started like basically driving off. 61-year-old white man. The police officer never once shot. Instead, he took out his safety hammer, broke the window. Then once he broke the window, the 61-year-old got the hammer out of the cop's hand. Not one shot was fired. We have the Capitol riots, right? Where a bunch of white people invaded the Capitol. And how many people were shot? Two? There was 5 deaths. The majority of them were officers who were attacked. 2 people were shot. Like, we're not, my only problem with the situation is we have so many examples of white people committing more heinous crimes. Dylan Roof, who murdered 11 people. It was a massacre in a church, who was apprehended. No bullets were fired. Instead, you know what he was given? Some water and Burger King. Like, come on. This situation has everything to do with race, because whenever we have situations in which there's white people who are committing way more crazier crimes, they're not being killed.
When
They're
I
not
was when I
killed.
was when the police apprehended me for my crime, I was armed and dangerous, and they gave me water too.
Great. I'm glad that you had that experience. That doesn't negate anything I said.
I'm just saying, they gave me water too. You know what I'm saying? It was like this. You want water? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah.
If police responded to all of these instances in which people are armed with murder on their mind, then okay,
All right,
right?
look. Somebody mentioned, you made a great point. That was a great point. Somebody mentioned he wasn't in the act when it was happening. The girl was in the act. So I'm guessing they're talking about like when people run from police. It's just like self-defense. Self-defense.
We're not doing it.
Hold on, hold on. What you mean we're not doing this?
We're
You
not doing
spoke.
it.
It's my turn to speak,
You're
sister.
right.
See? Thank you. Thank you. So let me tell you how the self-defense law works, right? If 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 I am running away from the scene, I could be armed. But if I am running away from the scene, and of course they do this to black people. You're right. You're absolutely right. They be shooting black people, right? They be running away from the scene. They be shooting them. They be running away with no gun. They be shooting them. But technically, it's still it's almost like this. We get it. They do tend to follow the law. You know what I'm saying? They do tend to follow the law a little better when it comes to whites, right? This we be acting like we in shock. Like we be acting like we don't know what's up. You know what I'm saying? We be acting like we don't know, you know what I'm saying, like what's going on here. So anyway, what I was trying to get is to the person mentioned that the person was running away from the act, right? So when you're running away from the act, you technically are not justified in shooting that person.
Who are you talking about?
You talking about the dude, he stabbed the police and he ran. So
That's the
so
excuse.
I'm telling you how the self-defense law works.
Right.
If you was trying to apply, first of all, the police, the law don't even apply to the police like that, right? So but I'm just telling you like this. If I stabbed you, Let's say if I broke into your crib and I stabbed you and I ran away from you and you had a gun in your house and you grabbed your gun and you came out shooting at me when I was running away from you, you going to jail. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you, that's just how the law works. If you're not in danger anymore, right? The moment you're not in danger anymore, and I took off running and you chased me and you shot me, you the aggressor. I'm just telling you, look, this is not me. It might work differently in different states, but I know in New York, you have to go to beyond the reasonable doubt to prove you was in danger. And in some states, if you're in a moment, if you're in a situation, we're in a moment, we're in a situation, and in the midst of the situation, like you just happen to kill me or you shoot me because I'm threatening your life in that moment. But the moment I'm running away from you, the danger has left. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. In different states, there's different laws. In some states, you can shoot somebody, they go on your porch. Some states, you gotta wait till they go into your house. So it's different. But again, everything you said, I agree with you. Like another thing I would say is this. We be so caught up. The other day I was watching something, right? I was watching a post about how there's a lot of white folks that get killed by police too, right? But we might not see it. We might not hear about it. We might not, it's not being propagated in the media. Again, it's not being propagated in the media. And I would tell you this, and this is why white people are so smart, right? Because they understand the psychology of black folks. They understand the mind of black folks. And make sure y'all like the video circulate. Because this is what they do. Notice how anytime there's a mass shooting amongst white people, every time there's a mass shooting of white people, they never show the bodies. They never show like the gruesome footage that they show about black people, right? They never do that. You know what I'm saying? They never ever do that. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to black folks, they will show you a dead body laying in the street. They will show you the actual acts. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta ask yourself, what are they really doing this for?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What are they really doing this for? Because look, think about this. If we was to see a lot of images of white people getting killed by police, it wouldn't be a race thing. It wouldn't. We
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be sitting here complaining about race. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be sitting here crying the race card if we was to witness white folks getting killed. And it sounds almost like that's probably what, like, because you bringing up like they ain't shoot them. They ain't do, you know what I'm saying? They ain't do them like they do us, right? Because of course you didn't see that on video. You know what I'm saying? So again, so I'm asking you, well, I'm not asking, but I'm telling you that they show us these things. They show us certain things, right? Like we always go to the race card when it comes about poverty, even though there's more poor whites than blacks. We go to the race card when we talk about jail, even though there's more white people in jail than blacks. You know what I'm saying? We always throw the race card, right? Because we want to show the disproportionate numbers. But at the end of the day, when we do total numbers, and people are going to say, of course, there's going to be more white people in jail. There's more white people in the country. Of course, there's going to be more poor white people. There's more white people in the country. I said, okay, so why are we separating just because we trying to say well, we was only 13% of blacks. So this is the disproportion. Okay, blacks are in a higher, you know what I'm saying, concentrated poverty than white folks, right? Or is that the truth? Or I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, I'm saying this. It paints a certain narrative. Again, now when it comes to policing is a problem in our country. And police, they might disproportionately kill blacks. I don't really know. You know why? Because at the end of the day, we get our information from the media. We get our information from the media. And when we get our information from the media picks and chooses what they're going to put out there. And as long as they're picking and choosing the gruesome images to show black people, you know what I'm saying, to get us riled up. I don't even know what's their purpose. I really don't know. And that's why I tell people, like, why we continuously continue to share. We continuously continue to cause our people heartache, right? When we show these gruesome pictures. They don't do that to white folks.
That's true.
So my whole thing is like, what is their purpose? What is their purpose when they continuously keep showing us cops shooting these dudes, right? They always show that. So my whole thing is like this. I'm like, they playing some type of mind game. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like I said, you right. They did show us certain situations, how they handle white folks, right? And I think that also was a reason. I think the same reason why they show us the bodies of the black bodies on the grounds and in the cars and in the apartments and all these different instances where police killed them. I think there's also a reason why they showing us how they arresting white folks without any problems.
I agree with you on what you just said. I definitely feel like there's a mechanism to media and them emotionally trying to manipulate black people continuously when it's convenient for them, right? Um but somebody made a comment that I wanted to address, right? So Big Uso, I think that's how you pronounce your name, said it's not the color of the skin, it's how you carry yourself. People die by acting stupid, right? So continuously, when we see black people in particular being murdered, we have certain, and I'm not sure what your ethnicity is, what identify as, but I see I've heard black people with those same sentiments, right? And that's a trauma response, right? It's the same thing as when we see these images, right? Like we're being traumatized, right? And a part of you being traumatized and a part of you seeing images of people that look like you being murdered is you coming and trying to rationalize with it, trying to be at peace with it. Because if we just admitted that these people were being murdered simply because they were black, we would be in a constant state of fear. We'd be in a constant state of terror, and that's something hard to accept, right? So what we do is we try to rationalize, right? We say Trayvon Martin shouldn't have been walking late at night with a hoodie on, or Eric Garner should have been selling cigarettes, or George Floyd shouldn't have been having that bounce check, right? We continuously justify and say if these people weren't doing it, Sandra Bland, right? She shouldn't have been arguing back with that cop. She should have just put out her cigarette, right? Continuously throughout these different examples of black people being murdered, we come up with excuses. Why? Because we want to differentiate them from us. We want to say, oh, that'll never be me because I won't do that, right? When we have so many different instances of black people literally dying just from breathing, right? Like just from being alive, not committing any crimes, but we find excuses to make peace with ourselves, right? So I disagree with that comment, and I disagree with that mindset, right? It's something hard that we have to accept, but we have to accept the truth, right? And this is not about playing the race card. It's not about playing the race card. And I
Right?
really I dislike when I hear that, because usually what that means is that people are uncomfortable having those conversations, right? And I'm not saying that that's the only thing that this has to do with, but it's relevant, right? And we have to talk about it, because when it comes to black people and when it comes to situations, we know that cops are trigger happy. You use that example of the guy stabbing the cop in his neck. Like, let's keep it all the way 100, like on this live right now, like for real. Like, please don't play with me. Like, are you really telling me that you think that if a black person, right, a Spanish person, any person of color, right, was to stab a police officer in his neck? Police officers are justified in killing people for two reasons, right? If they're causing bodily harm to the police, or if they're causing bodily harm to somebody else, right? That was the justification for Ma'Khia Bryant dying, right? Because she was about to cause bodily harm to somebody else. A white boy stabbed a police officer in his neck, trying to cause bodily harm to the police officer. The police officer chased him down. Y'all not hearing. Took his gun out, drew his gun out, right? Chased him down. When he got close, he didn't shoot not one bullet. He put his gun away and took out his taser and decided to tase that young man. So the whole argument that, oh, he wasn't in the act, the whole argument that, oh, he wasn't, that whole argument is done. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? He wasn't in the act. When these white men are being apprehended by the police, they are armed. When
Look, it
when
sounds like look, I get it. I
when
get it.
when a 17-year-old was apprehended, he was walking around with an armed rifle.
All right, we repeating the same story. Like
Yeah,
it's like we heard it, but look, we heard the story. So it's just like we dragging time when you just repeating the same shit you just said. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying like
right. Because I'm at loss for words because I'm not understanding
yeah,
why.
but re-saying it is not going to like people heard you like we get it. You upset. People are upset that the police are exercising the law when it comes to white people, and when it comes to black people, they're not, and they're getting away with it. Your problem, and I said this in another allow, the problem is not the police. The problem is the Congress people and the people that make the laws that let the police get away with the things that they do.
Okay.
You're mad at the police, right, for doing wrong, and you're not mad at you should be mad at the people who are supposed to hold the police accountable.
I'm mad at both because we're not gonna sit up here and act like. Come on, we could talk about the institution of policing in a whole nother.
If you did something wrong, listen, if you did something wrong as a child, people are gonna talk about your parents. That's what they're gonna do. You know, they're gonna be like, if you was a teenager, you can shake your head all you want. If you was a
At the
teenager,
end
look, look, look,
of
hold
the
on,
day,
hold on, hold on, hold on. The police got a job. The police got a job. The police
and
got
what
a
that job entail?
hold on. The police got a job. Yes, what does the job entail? Because a lot of people don't know what policing entails. The job of the police is to protect property.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's to protect property, not people. And the only time they protected people is if not even protect people, they protected property. And black people
The
were
job of
property
police is to perpetuate the agenda of the state. Period. And
to protect.
if
And
that agenda if that agenda is policing, subjugating, and murdering black people, that's what they're going to do. So you're absolutely right, right? You're absolutely right. Police officers and who's responsible for them, we need to hold them people accountable as well. But also hold police officers accountable as well, because at the end of the day, these people are human beings. And yes, this is a job, but these people know exactly what they're getting into when they get into the police force. Let's not also talk about the history of policing and what that originally originated as.
nobody care about the history.
No,
Like
that's
you know, this
there, but I
this
care.
is the
That's
this.
important.
Make
That's
sure y'all like the video. Oh, look, look, it's simple. Bottom line, they not holding police accountable. Don't get mad at the police.
yes,
Your
I
pro,
am. Police are not
it's
robots.
not gonna it's not
Police
gonna do
are human
nothing.
beings at the end of the day. Yes, they have a job. We all have a job. I have a when I worked at my job, right? When I worked at my job, if I saw somebody shoplifting, right? If I saw somebody shoplift, if I saw somebody taking something, it is part of my job to go and report it to somebody high for them to take care of it, right? But there's been plenty of circumstances where I saw a young mother, right? She's stealing what, milk, diapers, whatever, something, you know what I'm saying? Obviously something for the child, right? Now, she's also with her child, right? Now I can go and I could report her and she could be arrested and she could go to jail and her kids could possibly be taken away from her. Or I can make the choice to tell her, yo, you know what I'm saying? They're watching you right now. You'll put that down, blah, 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 and just leave the store, blah, blah, blah. I said also, because at the end of the day, it's my job, but I'm not a robot. I'm a human being. I have discernment. And that's a huge part of cops policing is them having the ability to have discernment in certain situations, them being able to choose in certain situations. And these cops are continuously choosing when it comes to black people to use guns and to kill them and to shoot them
Why?
because they don't value black people's lives. Period.
No, that too, but because they're letting them get away with it. Like you trying to go around from the fact you trying to go around from the fact
I'm
that
agreeing with you, but we're
okay,
not saying from making these police officers responsible. I'm not going to skip over these people and say, "Oh,
police
we're not going to focus on you." We just
police not the problem. If people held them accountable, they wouldn't be doing the things that they do. That's how
okay.
you.
They're still
That's
responsible.
okay. Also, go kill the cops.
I didn't. You said that. I didn't.
Oh, oh, oh. Now we get the hold on. Hold on now. Now we get the hold on.
What?
Hold
If
on.
you think
Look, I'm just
I'm gonna sit on any live platform or any social media or any recorded device and talk about how I'm gonna kill police officers, you're sadly mistaken, sweetheart.
look,
Even if that
all
was
I'm saying is this. All I'm saying is this. The police have a higher up, and the higher ups is letting them do whatever they want. My beef, I understanding the game is understanding the police is agents of the state. The state is the problem, right? The state land the police get away with killings. As, so you can have your beef with the police. You know what I'm saying? You can keep going to the precinct like a lot of people do. You can keep going to the precinct and protest and whatever, yell in front of the building. That's not gonna change nothing. You know why? Because the people who hired the police and who are above the police is letting the police get away with it. So you could sit there, look, you could it's like this. You could sit there in front of the projects housing office and complain and complain about repairs, right? But who owns housing? The city. The city owns housing. So until you make your complaints to the city, until you reach the chain of higher up to create change to trickle down, the
okay.
police are
That's
not gonna. What happened? Go ahead.
I agree with you, right? Definitely. Until they're held accountable, until we see more convictions like Derek Chauvin, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to see any changes, right? But if we're going to go with your attitude, we're going to go with your mindset that we need to stop talking about these police, we need to stop, worrying about the police, blah, blah, blah. Why are we so concerned about convicting Derek Chauvin? Why is his conviction important? Why should he be convicted at all?
Come on, you too small for this, cop. Because you know why? Hold
Why
on. You know why? You know why it's important? Because the state did their job.
mm-hmm,
The state in this situation
mm-hmm,
with Derek, the
mm-hmm.
state did their job. The state was like, no, whether it was to prove something, whether it was to quiet down the riots, whether it was to calm people down, the state was like, you know what? Too many people watching, too many people looking, too many people angry. You had the whole country wilding. Then there was like this: you going to jail, homie. You know, it might be for 5 years, it might be for 8 years. We might let you sneak out the back door, but on live television, we're gonna put you in them cuffs, and we're gonna. And this is what I'm saying. You see, when the state does their job over their minions, then we will have change. Until then, I could sit here and beef with the police. I
Hold
could sit.
hold on. Somebody said, no, it wasn't the state, it was the jury.
Listen, all right. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. It was the jury, right? Let
Something.
me tell you something. Let me tell you something. What's his name? Ramarley Graham. He got killed in the Bronx, I think in 2012. I was locked up. I went to school with him. I went to middle school uptown with that kid. You know what I'm saying? The police killed him. They chased him. They chased him in his house, broke into his crib, shot him in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Those cops, they went to grand jury. They went to grand jury in the Bronx. When they went to grand jury, the grand jury indict. When you go to for people that don't know the process, you go to the grand jury to this when charges are brought up against you. You go to the grand jury, and the grand jury decides whether the charges are going to stick and you're going to go to jail, or the charges are going to be dropped and you could go home. So, and I mean, when I mean go to jail, it's like they're going to go to trial, right? So what happened was these cops that killed this dude, that broke into his house, killed him in the bathroom. You know what they did? The grand jury is regular people. Grand jury is regular people now. They said yes. They made the charges stick against the police officers. You know what the judge did? The judge stepped in and said, something was wrong in the grand jury proceedings. They said we're gonna have to do the grand jury selection again.
Right.
When the new grand jury came, they did not indict those police officers. And that shows
The state.
how the state could have stepped in. So the state could have did the same thing.
Also, the state decides to prosecute as well. So,
So the state, so when people say the jury, the state could have stepped in and said, whatever they could have, and they're probably gonna do that, right? They're probably gonna give him an appeal. The state probably gonna give him an appeal, gonna do whatever they do, but we don't know that. What I'm saying is the state could have meddled, play some little games in the trial and the jury selection, but they didn't. They chose to just chill. I don't know if it's, but hopefully it's for the best. Hopefully they give him 40. You know what I'm saying? But this is why it was so important. It was so important because for the first time, or one of the instances, we have seen the state holding police accountable for their crimes. And I think that's the only thing that's going to change things in this country. And cool, we could be mad at the police. We can be mad at the police. Back in the slavery plantations, people used to be mad at the house niggas just because they was in the house, just because they was fair skinned, just because they was living in a better situation, and they was cooning, or they was whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like people used to be mad at the house niggas. You know what I'm saying? So, but the house or the cracker, right? When they had the black overseer that used to be whooping people, they telling him to do that. He might enjoy his job because he not getting whooped. And this is what the police are. The police are agents of the state. But at
mm-hmm,
the end of the day, they don't have the control of the state.
mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So we could be mad at the police because they the ones that are the actors. They're acting in concert, right? We could be mad at them. We could be, because you know what's so funny? People do this for black folks all the time. We sit here and talk about why they doing what they doing. We sit here and talk about they live in concentrated poverty. We do this all the time. We blame the state instead of blaming the actors when it comes to accountability in the black community. But when it comes to police, we be like, you should know better. That was your job. You got training. And a lot of people don't even know what the police training entails.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what they telling police when they're training them. They're training them a certain way to go into the black community to look at you and I as a gigantic threat, and they must not be believed. They must be killed. So this is the state.
So with that being said, you don't think that took an effect with in terms of this situation with Ma'Khia Bryant?
It does. And I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is the problem is the state. The problem is the state letting
I,
them get away.
I agree
The
with you.
problem is the state training them a
I
certain way. So this is my whole thing. My whole thing is like you could look at the individual police. You could look at the individual police and be like, you should have like, but at the same time, they listen, policing is a lot of psychology into policing. I'm saying it's a lot of psychology into policing. Like this is why when the police patrol the hood, they watch certain people. They watch how certain people move. I've seen this so many times. Like I can't sit here and tell you certain things, but I've seen this so many times when it's just like if you just move a certain way, police not gonna mess with you. I've seen it. I've seen it personally. I'm not saying that there's not people who don't be doing nothing and they don't get stopped, but I seen it. I told you I got stopped by a Spanish cop. You know what I'm saying? The moment I told him my name, he was just like, you know what I'm saying? I got a Hispanic last name. You know what I'm saying? The moment he knew my last name, he started acting different. He even apologized to me. He said sorry for stopping me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that to say that like when it comes to black people specifically, there is something that is being specifically said to these cops. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was in the parole office and my PO was Puerto Rican. And when he heard my last name, he said, "Oh, he got mad hype." He was like, "Oh, you Hispanic? Oh, you?" And I was like, "No." And he was just like, "What you mean, no?" Like his whole face is saying, he's like, "What you mean, no?" I was like, "Nah." You know what I'm saying? You know how many times people be like, "Oh, I thought you was a Moreno," you know what I'm saying? But you, and I'll be like, "I am a Moreno." And their whole vibe just changed. Because people feel a certain type of way against black people.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not just police. This is across the diaspora, across the country. People feel a certain sentiment towards black people. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? They can't stand the fact that we're not in bondage no more. They can't stand that fact. And I think police is one of the main ones who can't stand that because they were slave catchers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So so the history, yes, we can learn the history. It's good to know the history, but
Mm.
when people just stick and hold on and dwell on the history, because it's like, all right, you can know the history, but what now? What we doing now? Like you could keep saying that they were slave catchers, but how is that? What we doing now?
Right. So I agree with you. I agree with you. We do have to, if we see more convictions like Derek Chauvin, I definitely think we'll see a decrease in the amount of cops who murder black people. Because the reason why he shot that 15-year-old black girl is because he knew there would be no repercussions. He knew that he could get away with it. He not only knew that the state will back him up, but he knew that and it's very sad, but in all these similar cases, there's black people who will sit up here and say, nah, he was right in shooting her. She shouldn't have had that knife. You know what I'm saying? She shouldn't have done that. This, then, the third, boom, boom. So they bet on those things, right? And they also bet on what you said, right? Like these crazy images of flashing us these crazy images of black people being
Oh,
murdered,
sorry.
our psyche and emotionally manipulating us. So I definitely agree with you on certain points. But just circling back because I don't want to like make this live like too long. Just circling back to my point originally what I said. I think that the four or five shots, I don't know how many times he shot her in the chest, was excessive. And I think that he could have de-escalated the situation without killing that girl. We've seen cops do it so many other times.
Well, no, I agree. I agree. I think that it was wild. I think that like 4 shots is like, come on, man. Like, I think that like I think if you shot once, maybe twice, right? Like twice is like,
Like
oh, okay.
But you know,
Huh?
if we're gonna talk about shooting anybody, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he could have he shouldn't even fired his gun. You know what I'm saying? But whatever, right? He chose to take his gun out. You know what I'm saying? That was his first option was to take his gun out, and you know shooting her in her chest or her back, wherever he shot her at. I'm not particularly sure. And why not shoot her? Why not shoot her on foot? You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
Close,
nah, chill, Ray Sean Love. You know, she got a point. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah,
he's
I think
close enough to do that, right? So yeah,
I look again. Like the video that they showed was just moving all over the place.
right.
And when I finally got the slow mo, um, when I finally got to look at the slow mo, and I'm gonna edit the thumbnail, but when I finally got to look at the slow mo, you get like a clear shot. And like I said, right, when it's like this, right? I've been in the hood, in situations where dude act like he got a gun or so. And I'm not saying it's the same, but I'm just saying in the split second situations, you gotta act sometimes. And it's like, and maybe he was a trigger happy cop. Maybe he wanted to kill a Negro. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? A situation presented itself where he would definitely be justified in shooting that little girl. You know what I'm saying? Because he gonna be justified. You know what I'm saying? They might do a little excessive. I don't know how the excessive might work. They might give him some anger management. They might, they might just be like, you know what, it was excessive shooting. They might take a little money away. They might, I don't know what they might do. But if they think he's gonna lose his job or he gonna go to jail, I don't think he's gonna go to jail. I don't think because she clearly had a weapon. And the moment you got a weapon, it's just like they're gonna justify them police, man. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna justify like them shootings. They already justify certain shootings where people don't have weapons. So imagine what they're gonna do with this case. You know what I'm saying? And like people saying why he didn't use the taser, like I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I've seen tasers not really do enough. You know what I'm saying? But look, I'm again. I ain't just look. It was excessive. The 4 shots was excessive. But listen, if I had a gun on me and somebody had a knife, I probably pop them too. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm not justifying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that had to happen. 4 shots is definitely excessive. But I'm just saying, in a situation,
What?
like even
But
if I got, huh?
sorry, but
What?
but but
I'm just saying.
I
I'm
think
just saying.
excessive, but it should be no but.
It's excessive, and at the same time,
Thank you.
I understand. You're right. You're right, sister. I appreciate that. It's excessive, and at the same time, is a split. There are split second decisions. You know, some of y'all probably never held a gun. Some of y'all probably never been in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all probably never encountered a situation where you had to make a split second decision. You know what I'm saying? With a weapon, because you was either trying to save yourself, save your friends, or save somebody you love. So I think that like people that have not had that experience, you don't understand split second decisions. You don't understand those moments. And that's what I'm gonna say. Again, I'm not justifying. It was excessive, but I'm just talking about split second decisions because I know how those split second decisions be.
Okay,
But
that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say about it. Yeah, there's definitely because there's gonna be some folks that agree with me, and there's gonna be some folks that are believe that the cop was justified in murdering that girl, right? So everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
yeah, there's somebody and my boy Yada was saying, in the training in their training they're also taught to like shoot the center, the largest part of they just be trying to catch. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man, but it is what it is, man. Like it's sad. It's a sad reality. We see it all the time. We're gonna probably continue to see images, and I think the solution is just convict cops and don't let them go to PC when they go to jail. You
Word.
know what I'm saying? Don't let them go to PC when they go to jail. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because that's what they do. They protect cops, right? Like, you know
Sure.
what I'm saying? Cops be living good in jail. The police gonna look out for them. Listen, I done been in jail with people that kill cops. And I see how the COs is basically cops. That's why we
Yeah.
call them police. I see how the COs be treating cop killers in jail. It was this one dude, I remember in 2012, they killed this police in Brooklyn in 2012. And I don't know if y'all remember the dude Lamar Pride. Lamar Pride, it was like 4 of them, and one of the dudes, he was in the house with me. One of the dudes, the shooter, he was in close custody. They put him in like PC or whatever. But one of the other dude, he was in the house with me. And I seen how they did this dude every day. Every day the police will come to the house, shake up his. I remember he was a Spanish dude, right? So when he came through, everybody showed him love. All the Spanish dudes, they was like, yo, you need food, because this is what Spanish people do in jail. You know what I'm saying? They was like, yo, you need food, you need shower slippers, you need anything. They was looking out for him. They was giving him stuff. And you know what the police would do? Every day the police would come in the morning, 6 in the morning, shake up his cell, take everything he had, throw his food away, and they would do the same thing the next day. Every day they did the same. Every day they came, woke this dude up. Mind you, people wasn't even getting up at this time. You know what I'm saying? Every day they came and woke this dude up early in the morning, messing with his sleep. Sometimes they would do it at night. They did this for like, I don't even know how long they did this for, but they was just messing with him. You know what I'm saying? They were just messing with him because he was involved in a police shooting. So they definitely make the lives hell of the people who are involved in the police shootings, and they definitely treat police like kings. So I think that, yeah, convict them, send them to jail. No, 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 no PC. You know what I'm saying? So they could, you know what I'm saying? So they could knuckle up in population. And I think that's a good punishment. That would definitely deter people when they hear in the headlines, ex-cop got killed in some maximum facility. You know what I'm saying? That would definitely deter the police from committing crime. But until then, we just gonna keep seeing the images, and we just gotta ask ourselves, yeah, the media don't even care. Like, we thinking, we record these things, and we put it out there and we share it with each other because we thinking we doing something. We thinking like, oh, we just bringing awareness. No, you re-traumatizing people. You know what I'm saying? You re-traumatizing people to a situation that this shit's been going on for decades. And you think you're changing something by just sharing a video of somebody getting killed? Sometimes we doing too much harm to our mind. You know, that's just my opinion. Hopefully everybody that tuned in, I appreciate y'all. It was a good conversation. Hopefully I ain't upset nobody. I'm just speaking my mind. I always speak my mind. You know what I'm saying? And about the stuff that was going on. Adults have now, we didn't talk about the adults that failed the kids yet, but we definitely gonna talk about some adults failing kids. Um so Ramadan Mubarak, brother. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like, share, comment, subscribe, and that's all, folks. Peace.